Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. Now, if you've been following the channel, you will know that I love an absolutely wide variety of board games, from the small tiny games to the big lavish deluxe productions and massive campaign games. But there is one thing I do particularly enjoy, and that is a small box game. A small box game that I can pop into a bag or into a rucksack and take along to our local pub and set up and enjoy a drink and a lovely board game as well. And there's nothing me and Lisa like other than some liquid nourishment and enjoying a board game at the same time. Well, this is one that we would take to the pub. This is a tremendous little card game called Cabanga, and it's for 3 to 6 players and will only take around 20 minutes to play. And it is a super simple game to learn and a simple game to play. All you have to do is to select a row, play a card, and look at the gap. And if the gap between the cards is too big, you could be in for a lot of trouble, because this is a card shedding game and you are trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand. But as you play cards, if there is a gap between the numbers on the cards, then it could be that other people may have those numbers and will shout Cabanga and throw the cards at you. So what exactly do I mean? Well, let's first take a Fun with Boxes look at what you get in the game, and then we'll take a look at how to set up and how to play a game of Cabanga. Okay, let's take a look at the components for a game of Cabanga. You will get 4 of these cards that you will use to set up the game, and 8 of these grey cards, and then you will get 72 number cards with numbers 1 to 18 in red, blue, purple and yellow. Right, the object of the game is to get rid of your cards in your hand as quickly as possible by placing them cleverly and without any gaps, because you will get negative points for them at the end. This would be very simple if it weren't for the other players. Damn them. If a gap opens up, everyone shouts Cabanga and you get more cards thrown at you. Who will have the fewest negative points after several rounds and win with a final Cabanga? Now, to set up a game to play, place the 4 coloured cards in the centre of a table in a line like this. It doesn't matter what colours are where, that's perfectly fine. Then take the grey numbered cards, give these a good old shuffle, and then deal them randomly to either side of the coloured cards. Next, take your pile of coloured number cards and give these, of course, a good old shuffle. And then what you would do is deal 8 cards to each player. So if I set up a 3-player game here, keep the remaining cards in a deck, and now you're ready to play. With that done, the first player to spell Cabanga backwards goes first and plays 1 card. And after that, the player to the left goes next. We didn't spell Cabanga backwards, if I'm totally honest. So just pick a start player, I think, is the easiest way. And then you're ready to play. Okay, playing the game. When it's your turn, you can play 1 card into the row with the matching colour. And it's up to you which card you play and which of the 2 discard piles, because these are called discard piles. And it's up to you which discard pile you choose. So let's take a look at the cards I've got in my hand here now. For example, I could play a red 10 card either here or here. And this 11 blue card I could play here or here. So just as this example, I'm going to play this 11 blue card here. So there is no gap between the 11 and the 12. And that's what's important in this game. If you have too large of a gap between the numbered cards you put down, then there's a good chance that other players may have those cards and they'll throw them at you shouting Cabanga. Now, in my example, if the next player was to play their card onto the same colour card that I played, they have to take a card as a penalty. So, with that in mind, perhaps this player may choose to do something else. Yes, let's go a 4 there, and we go 4, 5, so there's no gap there. And then we'll go on to the next player. So let's take a look at this player's cards and see what we've got going on here. Well, this player will play a 3, and then back onto the first player here. Now then, if they were to play this 9 blue card here, now there is a gap here because you've got a gap. There's 9, 10, 11. So there's a 1 card gap there. And look, this player has the 10. So what they would do is shout Cabanga and throw the card at this player. Now this player then has to take a card from the deck for every card thrown at them. So in this case, they've had 1 card thrown at them. They discard that card and draw a card to replace it from the deck. And these would play an 8. And now we've got a gap 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a bit of a gamble there by this player. And they're going to pay the price for it because this player can throw their 5 red and this player can throw their 7 red at this player shouting Cabanga, and those cards get discarded. And of course this player now has to draw 2 cards because they had 2 cards thrown at them, which they add to their hand. And play continues around and around just like that, where players are adding cards. Obviously what you don't want to do is you don't want to create big gaps between numbers, like for example 2 to 11 now, because that means this player can get rid of this 10. This 5 can also go. So you see the danger of making too much of a gap. Ideally you want to keep that gap as low as possible. Obviously doing your 12 to an 11 there is good. This 6 to a 4 is good for this player because they've got the 5 that's in the middle. And this 10 could go there. No one's got the 9 red. And that's the way you go. Now a round ends when one of you has no cards in your hand at the start of a turn, and this can happen either by playing cards or throwing them. If it's your turn and you play your last card, all the other players can still throw matching cards at you. This means that the game doesn't necessarily end when you play your last card, since you could have to draw penalty cards if cards are thrown at you. So if you play your last card and you've left too much of a gap there and somebody throws some cards at you, then you have to draw back up, so you haven't won. However, if you've thrown your last cards at someone else, the round ends after they draw their penalty cards, which ends their turn. At the end of the round, you will receive 1 to 3 negative points for each card remaining in your hand. So just if the game had ended here, say this player had finished, then I would score -1, -2, -3. And this player, oh dear me, you wouldn't want to be this player because they would score a -3, 2, another -3, and 1, 1. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they would get -10 points, while this player would get nothing. So you make a note of every player's negative score on a piece of paper and then start a new round. Resetting the game as we did at the very start during setup, setting up these columns and setting up some random grey cards. And then the player to the left of the person who last went in the previous round starts the new round, and you play as many rounds as it takes to reach the end of the game. Now the game ends once a player has a total of 18 negative points. The player who has the least negative point will win, and if more than one of you has the least number of negative points, then you both win. And that is a game of Cabanga. And you may think from the rules explanation I've just given you that this seems a rather simplistic game. Well, it is a simple game. However, it is an absolute blast to play with a group of people. It really is fantastic. You're playing away there, you got your hand of cards down to 2, and in the last minute there you have to play one of the cards, leaving a big gap, and the next thing you've got to draw 3 or perhaps 4 or 5 cards, and you've got to start all over again. Oh, it is tremendous fun. It's a lovely, simple game, and it's a game that's going in my rucksack, and it's going to go everywhere with me. And that's how you play a game of Cabanga. Well, as you no doubt noticed, very simple to play, but what fun. What an absolute joy. If you got 3 to 6 of you sat round and you don't know what to do, do this. Do this, I say. Do the Cabanga. There should be like a theme song for that, shouldn't there? Or some sort of dance. Well, this is a wonderful dance of cards. And I tell you what, you will have a load of fun. This is one of those games that I often say about that as soon as you finish it, you want to play it again immediately. And not only that, after that one, you want to play it immediately again, and so on and so forth. Oh, Cabanga. This is a cracking little game, and as such, it gets 2 big Funware Boxes thumbs up. Yes. Well, there you go, that's Cabanga, the little card shedding game which packs a load of fun into such a small box. Well, I do hope you enjoyed taking a look at that with me. If you did, please consider clicking the old like button and also hitting that subscribe button too, because that would be simply wonderful of you all if you could do that, please, because it will help me to grow the channel. And in the meantime, as always, thanks so much for watching. Please do take care, and bye for now.